Hi guys! Alright, I know it looks like the video quality is a little shitty, but we're working on it. I'm trying it from my computer this time. So, welcome to episode 2 of Lyra Rae's Alien Experiences. Alright, so we left off that huge UFO landed next to my car, and I was freaking out. Okay, so the next few days, this same exact bright star was still following me around, like everywhere I would go. I would see it every night. And it would start to appear like right as the sun is going down. It's still like light out, it's like twilight or whatever, sunset-ish time. And I would still see this like really bright star just appear, and I was like, does anybody else see this, or am I the only one that's like noticing this? And I would see it like when I was at work, and I would grab one of my friends and I would like point it out to them, and I'd be like, isn't that fucking weird? And they're like, no. And like I even showed my best friend, I like pointed out, I'm like, dude, like, that's the fucking spaceship that landed next to my car. He's like, that looks like a normal star or a plane or something. And I'm like, but it's not. So, I don't know. It was really weird. Like, nobody could see what I would see. It was still light outside, like, clearly bright outside, and there's no other stars. Like, when people would say that it was a star, I'm like, do you see any other fucking stars? No. Like, how is that a star? So, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, nobody would believe me. So, and I would even show them and be like, all right, let's come back in an hour, and I bet you, or like not even, let's come back in like 10 minutes, and I bet you it would have moved. And so, it always did. It always fucking moved. So I was freaking out because I was still seeing this thing, and it was like following me around. I didn't know what it wanted from me, and I couldn't fucking sleep. Are you kidding me? Like, I was so terrified. I could not even sleep, and I was just thinking about it, like, what the fuck do they want? So I had called up one of my friends who was really intuitive and psychic, and he's kind of like a psychic medium or whatever, and can communicate with spirits and stuff like that. And I called him up, and I told him what happened, and I was like, hey, will you come with me and go back? I want to get your opinion on what the fuck is going on. And so he agreed. And so we went back. I'm gonna call him Sam, and my other friend who lives there, I'm going to call him Jesse. So my friend Sam, we drove all the way over to where Jesse lived and picked him up in my car, and we went back to the spot where we saw it, and there was like a little like dirt road right next to it, so we're like, well, let's drive down there and see if we can figure out like where this thing landed, or like what's going on in that woods. So we drove down this like little dirt path, and we again started seeing these like very strange looking planes, and they were all landing in this same spot in the woods. Like, it was like one after the other, and we saw about 4 of them, and after the 4th one, we're like, all right, let's go see what the hell's going on over here. So we drove down this dirt path, and this is at the end of the road. It was like a farm. Like, how stereotypical is that? Like, somebody like owns a farm and they're like landing on their property or something. So we parked and got out of the car, and it's like super dark out. And it was really quiet. So we were just like walking down a little bit, and me and Jesse are like terrified. And Sam is like, Sam's actually more scared than we are. So he's like, I'll stay in the car. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the whole reason I brought you. So you can see what's going on and try and communicate with them and see what they want from me. And so me and Jesse started walking down to the end of the road, trying to see, like, where the fuck are these UFOs landing in this woods? And we walked pretty kind of far away from the car, and then Sam calls my phone, and he's like, hey, can you guys come back here? And we're like, yeah, sure. So we like walked back, and he's like, I think it's time to go. And we're like, okay. So then we drove off the road, and he was like, I didn't want to freak you guys out, but when you guys were walking down to the end of the road, I saw these beings standing in the bushes watching you guys. And me and Jesse were like, what the fuck? Are you serious? They're here? And he was like, yeah, they're definitely here, and they definitely want something from you. And so then I was like, oh my god, well, what the fuck? Like, we have to figure this out. Like, this is really crazy. So I was not trying to go back to that spot and see some creepy shit in the bushes. So we just like drove around, and we were trying to figure out like where these UFOs were landing. Like, is there some kind of like base there? The whole area is like fenced off, and there's no way that we could get in there. It's like all like swamp, marshy area, at least from what we can see. So we were driving around seeing if there was a way that we could get in there. And so we were driving around, and we just couldn't find a way in. Like, we drove all the way around like the whole forest, and then on the other side there was a hospital. So we like parked in the parking lot of the hospital, and the woods is like right here. So we would like walk up to the woods, but we still couldn't see anything. And then we saw this like plane, but like not a plane, like very, very sketchy looking plane that literally just like rose straight up out of the forest and flew directly over us. And we were just like, what the fuck was that? It was so weird. And then we watched it, and it flew to another spot across, like way across the highway and across like the farm fields into another spot in the woods, and landed over there. And we were just like, what the hell is going on? Okay, well, whatever was in there and wanted something from us looks like it left. And we have been like driving around and trying to figure this shit out for like a couple hours now. So, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So we were like, you know what? I think we'll call it a night, and we'll have to try and figure this out another time. So, but that left me with a lot more questions, and I definitely wanted to go back and see who the hell these aliens were and what they wanted from me. The one thing that my friend Sam did say is he's like, 100% they're here for you. Not Jesse, not me, you. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck could they possibly want from me? He's like, I don't know, and I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned.